I am standing today, which is good because obviously last week I was sitting because I was just really tired and just. This week a little bit better, which is good. If you are here, say hi in the chat room. Got a lot to talk about today. PlayStation Showcase 2021. They came, they showcased, they showed us shit, they surprised us. With some interesting stuff. Going to talk about the new Matrix trailer. Wow, that came out of nowhere. I mean, obviously, it didn't come out of nowhere because it was. Oh, hang on. Am I not on? Hold on a second. Bear with me. Is it showing me as live? This is the thing. Go to my channel. Oh, I am live. There you go. Bizarre. Some reason it was showing that I'm not live, showing that I've not got any viewers or anything like that. Neither. Let's see that one. I mean, come on. Let's go to. This is fun. All right, it's showing that I'm live, but oh, nobody's. This is saying nobody's in. You know what? This is part of the fucking course. How are we doing? Let's start this over. Hello, happy Friday, September the 10th, 2021. I hope you've had a good week. It's been a pretty up and down week for me. Lots of tests, lots of pricking and poking and bone scans and MRI, was it CT scans with without coloring. Bit of a scare on Monday. Ended up in the ER for a couple of hours because we thought I might have a blood clot. Turned out it wasn't. It was a side effect of the cancer in the bone, pressing on the nerves, causing sciatic pain down my thigh, which we thought might have been a blood clot because of the heart issues. So, seriously, getting old fucking sucks. Being sick sucks even more. So, yes, it has been the week that it has been. But, like I said at the top of the show, to nobody in particular, PlayStation had their big showcase yesterday. They announced some stuff that surprised us. The Matrix 4 revisitations, resuscitations, reincarnations, something like that, whatever it is. That trailer dropped yesterday, and holy shit moly, that actually was a really good one. I got to see Shang-Chi, and I'll tell you how I got to see Shang-Chi when I talk about it in a little while. And we had a new Ted Lasso drop last night. And again, this season, man, punch after punch. Just a beautiful, it throws the curves, but it's just these people. They're so human. You humans, you're just great. I figure, none of us are human. We're all just avatars of AI bots or something. I don't know. Excuse me. What else am I going to talk about? Oh, God, my brain not working. Oh yes, the what if thing keeps on going, and as per request from Raypad TV, who has now joined the Discord group, we will talk about FIFA's plan to bring the Soccer World Cup to every 2 years, or basically known as we're fucking corrupt as hell and we want more money from Coke and Nike and everybody else and McDonald's, and we're going to play the players into the ground and we don't give a shit. Because, FIFA, right up there with IOC, has two of the most corrupt organizations in the world. Not even in world sport, just in the world. You have to bear with me today. It's a very high pollen day. The allergies are just going like crazy. My nose has been running like a faucet. But I'm here, and I'm glad you're here. We've got 11 people in the room. Thank you. And let's see who's in here. The RPG is here. Good to see you. Mikey Futterish, Raypad. Yes, we'll talk about Kotor. Annalise here, sub-level 28. It's quite a great little crowd so far. Fantastic. Everybody I know. let's talk about, first of all, let's talk about Shang-Chi. So, as you all know, huge movie fan. Pre-COVID, going to the movies with the missus was the thing we did every week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. We had our AMC movie passes, which got you 3 free tickets a week. Oh, not 3 free, but you paid for it. But you had up to three tickets each per week for $30 a month. And we would go. We'd see everything. The last 2 movies we saw pre-pandemic, one was The Gentleman, which was the Guy Ritchie movie, and the very last movie we saw before everything shut down was the atrocious Invisible Man remake with what's her name from The Handmaid's Tale. It's an atrociously horrible movie. So yes, we decided to explore the options with regards to the theaters. The idea of going into a huge 400 person theater, not attractive, to be honest with you. So that discounted the IMAX and the local AMC and everything. But we do have an iPick here. And iPick is a little smaller, a lot smaller, actually. I mean, the seats are all in little double pods, they're little 2-seater pods. And there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's like 24 seats all told. And we found a screening of Shang-Chi yesterday when they opened at like 12:30 yesterday afternoon. So we were in the first theater to be opened. So we knew it was super scrubbed. We were tucked away in a corner, and we braved it, and we went and we watched Shang-Chi, masks on all the time. There were 6 other people, 3 other couples who were all there, dotted around. Nobody within probably up 15 feet of us, and everybody had their mask on, because the way the iPick works is that they bring you food, they bring you drinks, and this wait staff are obviously all double masked as well, but they're checking in. They're making sure every bastard's got a mask on. And so I got to see it, which was great. I just wish I'd picked a better movie. And look, I know people are going to say, oh, you cannot say Shang-Chi's a bad movie because it broke box office records. It broke the Labor Day record. Seriously, if I dropped a fart in a fucking can of soda and filled it and then opened it up and made everybody smell it, that would break a record on Labor Day. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I just feel, and this may be because this has been, the last 18 months in particular with, the Marvel stuff where we've gone, let's say from the start of the year, where we've had WandaVision going into Loki, we had Black Widow, now we've got What If, and now we've had Shang-Chi, and now we've got Hawkeye coming soon, and we have the Eternals. It feels a little bit, it has to be something really special, I think, to grab me by the, and I would say that the story itself is it's very interesting. It's another origin story, but it could have been something out of a video game. It's obviously out of a comic book. The bad guy, really charismatic. He's continued, the Marvel run, I think, since Black Panther on, of having some really good quality bad guys, if you will, where there's no black and white. There are these shades of gray, and they're not like, it's like, I'm doing this, and this is why I'm doing this. Yeah, I'm a dick, but this is why. I was a dick, but I'm not a dick anymore. Oh, but now I'm going back to be a dick, but why? It worked. Great performance. Awkwafina, very restrained performance. I thought she was great. Michelle Yeoh, she's a national treasure. She's an international treasure. She's a global treasure. Michelle Yeoh is a global treasure, always has been. I think my biggest problem, unfortunately, is with the title role. And I'm not going to blame the actor here. He's just so fucking dull. Not necessary, and I think his name is pronounced Simu Liu. I know he's Canadian born. I hate mangling people's names, but I'm just going to say that I'm sure he does the best with the dialogue and story arc he's given, but it's just like, I mean, this could have been this could have been Shang-Chi. I mean, no offense to the actor. Like I said, I think he did the best he could. I just feel that the character itself is just so dull. The sister's character, way more interesting. The father's character, as what we know as the Mandarin, really interesting. It does have, a little bit of redemption, move forward, move back, going, being redeemed and then going a little bit naughty again. The sister, really interesting character. I'd love to have seen her backstory, and I think we may see her, what she's doing again. If you have seen it and you've watched the end credit scenes. But yeah, Shang-Chi's boring, man. That character is dull as ditchwater. It really is. I mean, he is basically, he reminds me of Iron Fist, and I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong. I mean, I'm sure the actor, like I said, is a great actor, but it's just the lines. There's no passion there. There's no chemistry. There's no. I say this as somebody who is just, who watches the HBO series Warrior. Now, that one's about Chinese people who come to America at the turn of the 19th century, specifically San Francisco. It's a great series. You should definitely watch all of it. It's on HBO Max if you're in the US. But those characters and a lot of those actors, I think, would have are more interesting than Shang-Chi. Like I said, I'm not going to say that the actor's bad. I'm just going to say that it felt just blah. But yes, he may be a great actor, and he does seem like a really nice guy. And obviously, he pissed off a lot of people with some tweets, haven't we all? But yes, I just found it okay-ish, just kind of dull, kind of predictable, almost kind of Disney. To be honest with you, there's no edge to it whatsoever. I mean, it sucks that there was no, I mean, you have these epic battle scenes and you have people chopping each other up and you have no blood, especially when pointy weapons. Pointy weapons equals blood, in my opinion. And I'm getting to the stage where Disney needs to have perhaps a little bit of a harder edge or something in it. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it was nice not to have a romantic thing with the Awkwafina character. But yeah, what's your thoughts? I'm going to go back to the chat room. What are your thoughts on Shang-Chi? What do you think? Let's see. Ted Lasso. We're not talking about Ted Lasso yet. We're not talking about Ted Lasso. Okay. All right. Yes, obviously the Liverpool scarf, the RP Genius. The Liverpool scarf does prominently figure in the final third of the film, and understandably so, because it is the greatest club the world has ever seen. Yes, I've watched Kim's Convenience, so that's right. He was in Kim's Convenience, and he's a great actor. So yes, he does have. He is a good actor, but it's just that part. That part is just milquetoast. So yes, D Night Walker, welcome. How you doing? So yeah, it's interesting. How my wife loved it. She actually found it very, very entertaining. I just found it very blah. But I've also, like I said, I think I may be marveled out this year after consuming so much of Loki and Black Widow and everything else. It might be a little too much. As just, and who knows? But that's the beauty of opinions. Like arseholes, we all have them. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The allergies are being annoying. But yeah, I mean, for example, as an origin movie, definitely ranks behind Black Panther, which is my favorite origin movie in any Marvel. Any of the Marvel movies, Black Panther. In fact, I mean, my three favorite Black Panther movies, my three favorite Marvel movies, in no particular order, and I will count Infinity and Endgame as one, so they are one of my favorites. Then I will go with Winter Soldier, and then I will go with Black Panther. Those are my three. So, you know what it is? It felt Felt very similar. Shang-Chi feels, as a character, feels very much like Captain Marvel. Underdeveloped, not given much range, especially when you look at the exuberance that some of the characters have, or the quiet, understated power that some characters have. You look at T'Challa, you look at Steve Rogers, you look, they so like ooze this this screen presence, if you will, as characters. And then you look at Captain Marvel and you look at Shang-Chi, and they just they just seem more like secondary and tertiary characters, which sucks because I think they deserve better. And that's me. I mean, I also disliked Wonder Woman's movie. I mean, or not dislike, just found it average. Didn't get the hype for it. But I am all for lots of representation on the screen. Love the fact that there was barely any white people in it. Bloody crackers. Get us off the screens. Thought the soundtrack was awesome. Some of the visual effects was great. I expected more. I really did. We'll see. I'm still going to go see Eternals, especially if I can manage this situation of booking into this little theater and just sitting in the corner. We're going to give it another try next week when I finally get to go see Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds, which is what I wanted to see. And then obviously we've got Bond coming up, clocking in at almost 3 hours, I understand. Oh, I might have to take a bottle to pee in. And then, of course, we have, what else is at the end of the year? We have Spider-Man. We have Dune, which is next month, but that one I'm going to watch on HBO. I don't have to go to the theater. I'm not going to go to the theater. I'm going to watch that one. And then The Matrix. Yeah, that trailer. Keanu being all Keanu-y, and I like where they're going with it. I like what they've shown. Have you watched the Matrix trailer? You should watch it. It looks good. I had that's the one of those ones that, again, I had no faith in. I'm like, why the fuck are they doing Matrix 4? But it looks like an interesting take. The trailer shows just enough. Action looks amazing. Really does pop. Yeah. That might be my must-see film of this fall after Bond. But yes, I am looking forward to Bond, to everything else. Let's see. Ragnarok is another one. Ragnarok's obviously another one of my favorites. Deadpool's. I mean, Deadpool's obviously always great. I can't wait to go see Free Guy. All right, let's see. Keanu looks like Russell Brand in the trailer. Oh, that's not actually too bad a thing. I like Russell Brand. I met him twice. He's a really nice guy. Hello, Adam Gadsby. Hello, Backby. How we doing? Let's see. Mike Zero's in the house too. Yeah. All right. So let's talk. What's next on the list? What other things am I going to talk about? And I'll get to Teddy Lasso in a minute. What if? Let's stay on the Marvel tip. What if this week was Marvel's What If entry? I mean, this was the free shot. This was the one that would have propelled this above and beyond. This was the free hit, the open goal. This was the one that was going to go, what? And it was Marvel Zombies. Oh, for fuck's sake, Marvel Zombies is great. I love the Marvel Zombies series. Ash versus Marvel Zombies. That's a great one as well. I mean, the fact that we didn't get Bruce Campbell in a cameo. Shop smart. That was disappointing, but again, it was a case of what if they actually finished the fucking story? Where was the ending? Why was it so nebulous? Why does it always have to be so nebulous? Why did all the interesting stuff get told in brief flashbacks? This was the one that didn't have the movie that they had to remake from a different angle, which is what they've done in every other episode. This was the one that they could have really just had free reign, and you see them start to come down with it. And Hank fucking Pym, really? Hank Pym if he's going to end the Marvel universe, it's not through the zombies. But I mean, again, now you look at the books on that one, and there's interdimensional hopping, interdimensional hopping and back and forth and infecting, and that's how the Ash character from the Evil Dead gets involved. And I'm kind of done with What If. I really am. Jeffrey Wright is a fantastic actor. His voice holds so much gravitas, and he can deliver a line. He's like a black Sir Anthony Hopkins, to be honest with you. He's wonderful. I mean, I hope we get to see him, plenty of him, in the new Bond movie, because I think he's a great Felix Leiter. And the fact that there's not been a Felix Leiter spin-off with him in it, I think is criminal. I mean, he's always been a high point, an underused high point of Westworld, in my opinion. But yeah, this What If, it's more like, what the fuck? I'm just really disappointed, and I think that's maybe transferred over into my, and amplified my meh about Shang-Chi. Ray, I understand why it's your least favorite episode. I mean, it's certainly my most disappointing episode of What If. I think it, again, could have been a great movie. They could have just done this as a series of specials. I think it's very limited and short-sighted the way they've tackled this particular one. And I'm worried now that we are going to get, moving forward with She-Hulk and with Miss Marvel and with Hawkeye, that we are going to start getting so saturated, beyond saturation, because we're at saturation point now, with things being held back, and the fact that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Marvel movies this year. Spider-Man, I think, still has enough of a cachet to it because of this Spider-Verse aspect. But yeah, Marvel needs to figure something out and rein it back, because the Disneyfication, which was obviously originally really quite great, and how they tackled it and putting together this multiverse, it's now putting a lot of strain on it, in my humble opinion. Nice to see you, Mark Simpson. How are you? Jason Statham in Wildcard. I haven't watched that one. I did watch the other one. Something of Men. That was a good one. I like Statham. He's awesome. I can't believe Kelly Brook left Jason Statham for fucking Billy Zane. No offense to Billy Zane, but but Jason Statham. You know what I mean? Heels on Stars. Okay. Might want to check that out. And it says Adam Gadsby. I love the comics. I hope the What If. Yeah. I mean, look, and again, watch it, get a feel for it. I just feel it just feels to me as, what if this was a complete story? What if this was an hour longer? Those are the what ifs that actually end up you end up asking, not what if so and so took the super serum, or so and so was Star-Lord. And it's disappointing. Okay, let's get on to The Lasso Man. Ted Lasso. We know that this has been, a divisive. My brain, no work today. Divisive season for a lot of people. Like I said last week, people have been complaining about it, and it's not so cheerful this year, and it's like, but again, this episode starts with a bang, literally, and you don't actually see much of the Ted stuff. But again, this season we've seen him move to one side. We've seen romance, potentially start up, which was cool. Mr. Kent, front and center again, and being quite amazing. Brett Goldstein is just, I mean, he's obviously modeled on this hard man character, like Vinnie Jones as a hard man character for Wimbledon in the 80s. Totally talentless footballer, totally talentless actor as well. But he managed to make a lot of money off it. But yeah, we're seeing Ted peel the onion. We're seeing more of him. I'll talk about the soccer aspect, and we got the semi-final of the cup, and Richmond are playing, Sports Wash FC, which is, Jamie Tartt's old club, and we see how much of a plonker his dad is, and I'm not going to go into it, but it does feel that that where it is where they've tackled it predictably. Unfortunately, there is no major upset. Unfortunately, there. But it's just satisfying. It's satisfying it's almost like it's a good soap opera now. It's beyond a comedy, not quite a drama. So maybe a dramedy, but it's also got this, this soap quality to it. And I mean, soap opera in the British version, not in the American version, because American soap operas are fucking crazy. British ones are more gritty, sort of like kitchen sink. Fucking the reason that's they called soap operas is because they're all kitchen, at the kitchen sink, everybody's like, while in America they were called soap operas, I think because the detergent companies were predominantly sponsors of these things in the sort of 50s and 60s. I think that's true. I may have made it up. Who knows? I don't know what's going on. I'm on a bunch of fucking narcotics, including chemotherapy treatment. I don't even know what day it is. So yes, it feels like a dramedy meets a soap opera with depth, and I'm just going to keep on telling everybody who doesn't like it and is criticizing it for not being a comedy, fuck off. That's it. Fuck off. Because it's great. Let's see. Yes, all right, I'm going to put this up. I'm putting Ray Pads up because his comment, when you get to this, that was a powerful moment in the histories of television, in my opinion. That was just we've all been in that position as Jamie Tart over the years, and we've all needed a Roy Kent in our lives there. So yes, Ted Lasso is no Mike Bassett. Mike Bassett. Hang on, Mike Bassett. You talking about the former Wimbledon and Sheffield United manager? Is that who you're talking about? Was it Mike Bassett? Oh, it was David Bassett. Anyway, sorry. I get diverted. And the dog's barking away because he's being a dick. All right. What else are we going to talk about? Let's talk about Sony. Sony had the PlayStation showcase yesterday, and it was so interesting that I actually tried to buy a PlayStation today. And actually, all right, before we get to that, I'll tell you why I've got this level of optimism with regards to buying a PlayStation. And this is why I'm a little bit bouncier. I had the bone scans this week. I had the CT scans. Had the blood test to check the PSA. And the bone scans came back, and they showed that the cancer is in my pelvis, as we thought. It's also in my lower spine, my sternum, and my lower rib cage. And that's the prostate cancer in those bones, not bone cancer. But it's a difference. The differentiation is crucial, but it's treatable. I mean, it's basically turning my skeleton to Swiss cheese, but it's doing it in a way that we can actually treat it, which is why yesterday I was actually at the dentist getting a temporary crown putting, because I'm getting a new crown next week or in 2 weeks, because the first week of pandemic I broke this tooth at the back, and I've been holding off on it, doing anything with it for 18 months. So once that's done, 2 weeks today, which means, by the way, no stream 2 weeks today. It's not gonna be like this, Drew. When that's done, I can start the bone treatment, which is something called Exgiva. Which it's, and if you ever wanted proof that the Twitter app listens to you through your and data mines you for everything. I started getting Exgiva ads in my feed, in my Twitter feed. How about that, eh? And they only follow 30 people. Actually, they don't follow anybody and have 30 followers. So yeah, that was an aside. So yes, 2 weeks today, I get the crown in, and then I will be okay to start the bone treatment, which is good because it'll strengthen my bones. Because obviously the worry is that if I take a fall, because I'm on drugs that can disorient and discombobulate me, I could break something. I could literally have that old person moment at 50. Thank God the Nintendo Wii is no longer around, because the whole idea of breaking a hip now is my reality. But yes, that's going to happen in a couple of weeks, which is good. But the other really promising things that happened this week, we got the results of, back from the CT scans, and they showed that the masses are shrinking. They're responding to the chemo. So this is good. The cancer is not growing now. These tumors are receding a little. They're shrinking. And we're only 3 weeks in, maybe a month in. And then on top of that, the PSA, which is the blood test that looks for the prostate cancer cells, that was the one that was 500 originally. Now, ideally, it's a 0 if you're a man over 50 in going into your early 60s and you're at risk of cancer. It's a 4. Mine was 500 when they diagnosed this. In a month, it's come down to 36. That's a huge drop. So what does this mean? I hear you ask. Well, don't pop the champagne corks yet. It's not going to mean, oh, you've got this beat, Marcus, because as I've said every week, and I will continue to tell you, I am not going to beat this. It's going to get me in the end. The question is when that end is. And this has moved the goalposts. Now, I have another test next month where we are hoping that it will be down to 0. The PSA will be down to 0, which means the cancer will not, the prostate will not be producing any cancer antibodies, if for want of a better word, into my system. That's the ideal. That's when the goalpost gets moved to a level of, okay, you may be at 3 to 5 years here, which means we can invent something else to keep you going after that, which would be amazing. Up until I got this news this week and the results, we were looking at 6 to 9 months. And that's why I've been kind of like all over the place. I was dealing with the prospect of being dead inside 6 to 9 months because that's how advanced and aggressive the cancer has been. So this is, it's not a miracle. It's something that's pretty amazing. Right now, it's moving at this current rate. It's pushed me into the 2-year window now, that I could have 2 years, maybe 3 or more. But 2 years comfortably good. If it continues on this trend, that doorway, that with the light behind it, I don't have to go through it for longer. So this is good. Can all change. Obviously, when you're dealing with a cancer, it's something that one day can be like, oh, I'm getting my ass kicked, and then like Rocky, it fucking pulls up from the rope, so it takes its Popeye spinach, and and it can start again. But for the moment, with the pills I'm on and the shot that I get every 3 months in my rear quarters, it's promising. It's promising. So I might just be around for a little bit longer yet. So I'm really happy. And obviously, with the first day after getting all that news, I was like, I didn't know how to process it, to be honest with you, because you're like, really? What happens if they read the wrong blood results? What happens if they read the wrong bone scans or the wrong CT scans? I'm like, no, it can't be true. So it's taken a couple of days. We had the results in on Wednesday. And it's taken a couple of days to process. So I've held off telling a lot of people up until last night and today. Ray, you are in Arcadia in 2 weeks. Arcadia is 10 minutes away, mate. We can see it. We can get together. We can have a cup of coffee. I can have a drink. I can see you in 2 weeks. That's fine. Absolutely. We'll figure this out, my friend. Text me. Yeah, it's the only time ever I've been happy about shrinkage. Hello, Aviz and 100th marriage. Nice of you to join us. So yes, so that there you go. So that has just led on to my attempt today to buy a PS5 because I have this level of optimism now that I might actually could get value for money and play a PS5 for maybe up to 2 years. So, and what inspired me to go get that one over the Xbox, and I didn't get one, by the way, because I just couldn't get hold of one. Everything was like sold out, or $1,200 for a fucking bundle. But the PlayStation Showcase 2021, great showcase. It's like almost as if, Sony, where you been? What you been doing? There's like the first 2/3 of the year, 3/4 of the year even. They've been like, Microsoft can do this. Nintendo can do that. We'll show up eventually. And look, it's not like they've come in and totally saved the day. They've come in and said, oh, hi, we're still here. We've got some good shit coming soon-ish. I mean, let's look at the downsides for a start. I mean, first of all, GTA 5 for PS5 delayed to March 2022. I mean, come on, kids. How many versions of fucking GTA 5 do we all need? I mean, Rockstar, I love you. Just give us 6, eh? I know you're making more money than God with GTA Online, but just give us 6 already. There's an Uncharted 4 is going to be remastered for PS5 and PC. Sony did announce that they are not going to charge for upgrades for Horizon 5 Goes West. But from now on, if you buy the PS4 version, they're going to charge you $10 to up-res because they're, cheapo bastards. Spider-Man 2 is coming to PS5 with Venom and I think Kraven the Hunter and Miles Morales in 2023. So I'm really determined to live that long. But it's 2023. Probably around the same time as the Wolverine game. Now, that was the big surprise. Wolverine. Insomniac are doing a Wolverine game. Now, and we will talk about KOTOR in a minute. But yes, Wolverine. And we talked about this briefly in the Discord group that you automatically become a member of if you subscribe to any of the tiers on the Patreon, by the way. I don't know what Disney's playing at here. You have got the biggest character, like one of the biggest characters is Spider-Man, one of the most recognizable, and he's exclusive on Sony. We talked about this with Avengers, the Avengers game, and how it's only coming to the PS5 or the Sony consoles. And now Wolverine is now another Sony exclusive. Now, Spider-Man made sense because Spider-Man, the Spider-Man movies, the Venom character, those sort of things make a lot of sense. But Disney putting Wolverine, it makes sense for them to put Wolverine in the hands of Insomniac, because Insomniac have done a pretty fucking good job with Spider-Man. I haven't played Miles Morales, but I love the Spider-Man game. Came out a couple of years ago. One of my favorite games of the year. A little bit limited in what it did on a lot of ways. A little too small playing area. But hopefully, moving forward, the sequel, bigger, better, more action, indoor and out. So they probably thought, oh, Insomniac, yeah, they'll do a good job. Because who else is going to have our Marvel stuff? Oh, who else has it? Oh, yeah, Square Enix. Yeah, they're a bit shit, aren't they? Guardians of the Galaxy still looks like crap. Looks like reskinned Avengers. And so maybe from a quality perspective, they thought that would be the case. I don't think it is. I think it's more like money. But to take one of the most iconic characters and screw them away on a single platform, it's the nature of the beast. It sucks. I'll be interested to see what the game has to offer. I'll be interested to see when the game will come out. Are we looking at maybe 2022? They announced Spider-Man 2023. That's well early in my book. They didn't need to announce that yet. They could have held that until the end of the year. Wolverine, maybe next year. What sort of Wolverine is it? I mean, obviously, it's going to be better than X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was the shitty movie that was turned into a shitty game with Activision had the license. But it's disappointing that it's going to be on PlayStation only. And again, this is the thing that Microsoft has over Sony. and I've said it before and I'll say it again, is that Microsoft brings stuff to the PC too, and Sony fucking doesn't. And people will say, but look at Days Gone, and look at Horizon, and look at they just announced Uncharted 4. And I'm like, fuck off, it's an old port. Fuck off, it's an old port. And fuck off, it's an old port. When Sony is doing day and date, PC and PlayStation, then they can be held, they can be brought to the table for the conversation of who's actually being a great contributor to the games industry, as opposed to, oh no, you can't have this. We have all this. We have Spider-Man, and we have Wolverine, and we have all the other stuff that is great. We have Nathan Drake, and we have The Last of Us. And no, you have a PC? No, fuck you. Because that's what they do. Fuck them. Not going to stop me buying them. We're buying a PS4 now because I need to get one because I want to play these great games. So curses, they've got me, but I would rather see this stuff on PC as well. And I think it's getting the stage that, Microsoft will still continue to make a shit ton more money than Sony, because Sony now has to invest a lot more in games that aren't going to be available on a streaming service day and date, and have that continued level of revenue. And now it's going to depend on their exclusives to sell the systems. So, yeah. Let's see. Ray, if you want to send me that guy's link, I will follow him. Let's see. Hello, Blendwork. How are we? 100th. Yes, said hi. Red. 2024 Wolverine. Maybe Wolverine is. Maybe I'll be my own version of Wolverine, because maybe my bones medicine will make me indestructible like adamantium, and it'll just be a skeleton coming up and doing a night gamer, and we go, or Friday with beer. It'll just be the skeleton, powered by AI, because we're uploading my head to the interwebs. Yes, and Lucifer just dropped today. Absolutely. So yeah, look. What I'm going to say is, Sony's done a lot of Sony stuff. Sony went and Sony'd and be the most Sony they could Sony. That's what they do. And there's stuff there that people will be very happy about, but there's nothing really right now. I would say that the PlayStation is still a little underserviced, in my opinion. Now, do I want one? Yes. Do I want to go play Miles Morales? Absolutely, because I'm just a huge fan of that stuff. I'm not sure what else I'd probably want to play right off the top of my head. Sifu is one that has caught my attention. I'm looking forward to seeing. But if that's on PC, I'm going to play it on fucking PC. So yeah, Sony does need to stop being so insular. That is the problem with Sony. They've become so insular. If they expanded and treated, for example, PC owners not as enemies, but as friends, as additional potential customers, they'd be in a better position. Because let's face it, and I've said it before, and you can say it along, the PS5 is a fucking PC in a box. So it's a stripped down PC in a box. That's what it is. It's a PC that's not as powerful as this PC that I've got in front of me. And it would be lovely to play the exclusive Sony games on this machine looking way better than the PS5. Because that's just the way it is. Because this PC is maybe technically older than a PS5, but its specs are brand new, much newer than the PS5. So yes, I'm going to crack open another bottle of the good stuff, because this is my life now. Gran Turismo. I'm glad some people like Gran Turismo. I'm not a driving guy. I miss my TTRS, and since then I've refused to play driving games. Water. So look, there's a lot for Sony down the line. There's a lot for Sony maybe in about a year or so. There's not a lot for Sony right now, and there hasn't been through launch. Microsoft have at least managed to... Oh, actually, there is a game for Sony that's coming out, and I got a review code because I'm a lucky bastard. Deathloop. But I'm playing it on PC, which means it's going to look better than the PS5 version. Yeah, Deathloop, and I got a review code because I've got some very good friends at Bethesda, and embargoes a go, Can't say anything. But we will talk about that in a couple of weeks. That might be the saving grace on the PS5 this year, to be honest with you. Because let's face it, you can only survive on from software ports for so long, eh? Ooh, so nasty, so nasty. He says as he still wants to buy a PS5. Yeah. Okay, so that was my thoughts on Sony, all over the place, rambling. What am I playing this week? Well, I'm going to shock the shit out of everybody, and I'm going to turn around and tell you that I am playing, or I've started playing, Boyfriend Dungeon. Why? It was on Games Pass, and I'd seen people talking about it, and I'd seen the controversy, and I wanted to get a feel for it myself. And I got to say, it's a perfectly silly, perfectly charming, perfectly mediocre RPG, JRPG-esque kind of silly concept, where a lot of thought's gone into it with regards to how the different characters are. But it feels like a Super NES game. It really does. It just feels like a Super NES game. A lot of grind to it. I'm very glad I'm playing it as part of my Xbox, my Games Pass Xbox PC thing live subscription of as opposed to buying it, because I certainly wouldn't be very happy with buying it. I noticed everybody's gone quiet. What's going on? Why is everybody quiet? The streams are still going. Anyway, yeah. Hello, anybody there? Chat's gone very, very quiet. Maybe the chat bot crashed. Yeah, so I played it. If you have Games Pass and you can download it, give it a try. It's innocuous. It's retro. It's got a little bit of a nice heart to it. Thank you, Grey Zone 3, or Grey Zone rather. Chicken Chaser, nice to see you. All right, now I'm seeing everything coming back. Melchior in the house. Yeah. So give it a try. It's funny how a game as inoffensive as that can get all people wound up. Oh, it's Matty Swider. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. So that's what I'm playing, but I'm also playing Fallout 3 because finally, after a very long time, Fallout 3, because I guess Microsoft bought Bethesda and they thought, oh shit, one of the biggest franchises and one of the biggest games of said franchise doesn't work on Windows 10. Now works on Windows 10. Fallout 3. Download through Games Pass. I mean, I've got umpteen versions of it. And I started playing that again. And I never really finished. I never got everything done. You can never get everything done, but there were certain choices I know I made that I want to go back and try again. And I'm doing that. I am playing it, and I want to get to I want to get as much done as I can and try things differently this time. And that's the beauty of knowing that you're going to die at some point, is that you're like, you know what, you really should do this. And now I'm back in. I'm playing with everything turned up to 11 on the big screen and the music. And I'm like, this is good. This is good. Still better than Fallout 76. I said that. So, yeah, there you go. Play a JRPG. That Boyfriend Dungeon's the closest thing you're going to get to me out of a beat. My tastes have changed so much. I just cannot play JRPGs anymore. I've tried. I really have. Sorry. Cannot do it. Those days are long gone. Okay, so what are you all playing? RPG Genius is playing Tales of Arise. It's a JRPG, so I'll probably hate it. Like I said, it's not necessarily hate. It's more... no, you're right. It's hate. And I don't know why I got to the stage of hating them. I mean, I think it's just the mechanics are so repetitive. And I say this as somebody who plays shooters and all sorts of things with repetitive mechanics, but it's always just the same thing. That is the gameplay is designed to say, we have 150 hours of gameplay. But what we don't tell you is 149 of those is you having to use the same text thing over and over and holding down the X button to speed through the text and then go through all the cutscenes that are at least 89 hours long on top of everything else. And that's my problem. It's full of cheap mechanics which have been misconstrued or mislabeled as classic mechanics. It doesn't seem to have evolved as a genre. Whereas the shooter genres move forward, and the tactical RPG, and even the action RPG like Fallout, that was a wonderful revolution and a step forward. The JRPG has not done that, in my opinion. Let's see. Control. Okay, Markio One is playing Control. Tried it, bored me. Stupid. And that one again, beautiful game to look at. And I bought I was on a sale on Epic Games, and I bought it, and it's like the game of year with all the DLC. And I just got to the stage where I'm like, why am I looking at the same thing over and over and just doing the same thing, shooting the same? It's repetitiveness. I mean, considering a lot of it is set inside office environments, it certainly does convey the humdrummedness of the office environment. We had the same problem with Fear when we had the opening act of Fear, the first third of the game, if you will. Very exciting. Everything was, the levels were different and we're all over the place. And then you got the midsection of the games, which is basically office and more office and more office before you got in that final third, which was really quite strong, took you off to different locations again, labs, etc. But that middle section of Fear was dull as fuck. The Office might make for a good sitcom. Shooting it up doesn't make good for a good video game. Yeah. Okay, so people are playing Bravely Default. FIFA is obviously coming. The people are playing FIFA. Fire Pro Wrestling. Okay. Somebody's talking on the Discord. Okay. And again, the Discord is fantastic. People are having conversations here. I've got Frosty Ken, Raypad, and Sublevel 28 are all in the Discord, chatting away and sharing stuff. And it's great because we get to share stuff and talk. And they got to pose some questions earlier. And in fact, I'm going to go back to some of those questions. Yeah, and obviously Ray's was one of them. Oh, let's talk about the Kotor remake. Didn't see that. I forgot about that question. So yes, Kotor's coming to the PlayStation, and it's Kotor remade. We've talked about this a few times. It's also coming to PC. And great. I mean, the fact that it's coming to PC, and it's, even though you can still get it on the PC, hell, you can get it on the iPad now. I'm just going to say what I said before. I'm looking forward to it. Be interesting to see how they modify it for the next gen console and for the PC. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. You got to do that Kotor 2. That's the one that needs to be modded, be remastered, remade, re-envisioned, whatever the fuck. That's the better story. It's Obsidian. And I love BioWare. But Obsidian out BioWare with Kotor 2. It's just they had to deal with that. Obsidian back in the day just couldn't get a break when it came to engines. That one, Fallout New Vegas, they were given a shitty engine, and they still created one of the best Fallout games of all time. So yeah, Kotor 1 and 2. I want Kotor 2. Hopefully I'll live to see it. See, I'm going to play that little violin. And so everybody decides, oh, yes, we're going to give him Kotor 2. Or not. I think I've got it on PC, on GOG or something. The Beer Jesus. Hello, Beer Jesus. How are we? Okay, sorry. I'm the only Beer Jesus because I've come back from the dead once. And hey, I might even do it a second time, and I am Beer. Interesting comment by Raypad. Love Obsidian's games, but always thought of them as BioWare's under 23 team. I would basically say that Obsidian are the best story makers in the industry. And you've seen this with the Outer Worlds. When they were given an engine to play with that wasn't going to be janky AF as the Kotor engine was, as the Fallout 3 engine was, they produced a fantastic game, The Outer Worlds, an absolute rampant space epic, and I can't wait for that sequel. It's a space epic. So I would actually say that BioWare could actually be held at a slightly lower plane than Obsidian, because Obsidian have had to work with some shite over the years. The Dungeon Siege engine, kind of shit too. But the storylines in the Dungeon Siege, in KOTOR 2 and Fallout New Vegas, the best entries in those particular franchises in my book. And so, yes, I would say all hail Obsidian and that particular crew. I think they are fantastic, and they've proven they still got it a decade or so later, even more than a decade later, because like I said, the Outer World came along 18 months ago and it's just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to take pause, as in start to run my engine starting to run down. I will say one of the side effects of the chemo is the hot flashes, which means I was really hot and bothered at 1 a.m. this morning, tossing and turning, couldn't sleep. I had to go sleep on the couch underneath the AC vent because that's how overheated I got, and I'm getting insomnia, so I'm not sleeping as much. But I'm so happy after last week's sit down episode. I'm back. I'm standing. This is good. That's the show for this week. Unless you've got last minute questions, please feel free to lob them out at me. I will answer them right now. Thank you to all the new Patreon subscribers. I think we've had something like 4 or 5 in the last couple of weeks. We are up to 5 subscribers now who have signed up to get the beer mug. I mean, who doesn't want a beer mug? A beer mug. That's obviously Patreon level 3. Finally done away with level 4 because it was just ridiculous. So the most expensive Patreon level is 3 to get the mug and to get the live stream. And then all other levels, you get access to the Discord where we're chatting right now. And I'm going to do a Discord chat for everybody next week as well. So all you Discorders, check your schedules, because we'll do a little private voice chat with all of us getting together and just doing a Q&A next week where we'll all shoot the shit, as it were. Hello, Super Moxie, and thank you very much. Yes, prognosis has gotten better. Like I said, there's no beating it, but it's all about beating things back until I decide to go. That's the plan. I want to go on my own terms, and preferably not as a gibbering old wreck. All right, good people. Thank you so much. It's always fun to stand here and talk to you. And as we head into silly season, we're going to have more and more games to talk about. We're going to have movies to talk about. You know, hit me up on Annoyed Gamer on Twitter. Post your comments, give me your feedback, pop your questions. If you do want to join the Patreon, cheapest version is $3 a month. That gets access to the Discord where we get to have these chats. And, you know, the community there is slowly building. So, yeah, if you want to, that'd be great. It's all appreciated. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Don't forget, 2 weeks today, I will be getting the crown in my mouth. So I might just pop on and do a show and maybe, you know, have a couple of glasses of scotch I can dribble out, and we can have that as the Comedy Drunk Uncle episode. And I'll tell all you wonderful kids to get off my lawn. And Ray, yeah, let me know when you're going to be in Arcadia, my friend. We will hang out. All right, much love to you all. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy the wedding. Sub-level 28. Little wee brother's getting married, so congratulations on that one. Be good and be careful and be kind, and don't be me. Get that prostate checked, gentlemen, no matter how old you are. This is Marcus Beer, and I am out. I will see you